Judge Mathis did an interview with the Dialogue, and he's speaking on the Nolan Wells case. And now, as a judge who sat on the bench and seen thousands of cases in all his years, he says something doesn't smell right. Something stinks in the air. And he doesn't like the way that the police have been investigating this unaliving of Nolan Wells. He said it doesn't look right for all of his experience. Now, we know a Judge Joe Brown, he's a guy that comes and say he loves black people, but then he always side with the dominant society against us, right? I figured him out a while ago and just keep my distance away from that guy, right? And we know that him and Judge Mathis and Judge Joe Brown, they've had their differences in the past. But Judge Mathis, he stood there, he sat there in this interview and he was saying like, man, listen, I can tell you how investigations should go and, the way that they should have handled this. And they definitely are not handling this the right way. So on the Art of Dialogue, he said this.
Case, can you break it down?
Yeah, certainly. Nolan, a black man, went on a boat ride to a pretty much resort island, not necessarily, just a fun island off the coast of Mississippi. And 4 of them left and went and had fun, and only 3 returned. They then found Nolan dead. His 3 friends that he had come with in the boat had gone and left in the boat and claimed that Nolan stayed behind by himself. And additionally, however, and this is where the first question comes in with me, they say he left his cell phone. They have his cell phone. They had it in their possession. Okay, so if your buddy says to you, I'm leaving, you all go back. I'm staying by myself. No friends, just me wandering around. And then you see that he had left his cell phone. So you see, so you say, in the boat. And instead of taking it back to a friend who's on the island by himself, and by the way, did you ask him how he was getting home? So instead of going back, you couldn't be that far off because the phone right in the boat. Say an hour or 2. If you're a real friend, you'll drive back on that recreational hour or 2 on the boat having fun to give your man his phone.
So now that Judge Mathis has jumped in and you have a whole bunch of athletes, entertainers, black celebrities donating money, and they give them 25, 50,000, 100,000 for anybody that will speak out, right? A lot of officials in Mississippi are upset because they're not able to handle this thing the way that they want. Open and shut case, the young man drowned, right? You know how they like to do things. They like to handle it that way. But now they got a mascot. Woo! They got a Mississippi Bulldog, right? Man, he done came out, Brandon Tatum. He said, I'll be your Huckleberry. I'll get out there, master. He took his hat off, put it on his chest like this, and received his marching orders. And he said, I'll go out there and do whatever you say as long as you allow me to have some W cooch. As long as you allow me to put my nose in as much W cooch as I want, I'll do whatever you tell me to do, master. And they said, sure, sir, we'll give you a bunch of bottom shelf Beckys. You can have all the bottom shelf Beckys you want. We just need you to go out there and get out in front of this Nolan Wells story. Use your platform, right? And interview people and do everything you can do to try to talk down on the people that are out here helping Nolan Wells. So he said, sure, can I take one of these bottom shelf Beckys with me? They said, you sure can, Brandon. And he went out there and he started doing this.
Say something real quick. Benjamin Crump should be ashamed of himself. Al Sharpton should be ashamed of themselves. I'm right here in Mississippi. It's crazy that I had to fly down here to even get this information. They've been lying on these boys. I got evidence, and I'm going to show it to you, and I'm going to lay it out for you. It is a shame that boy Nolan did not get the respect that he deserved. In my opinion, they turned his death into a racial thing, destroying the community. You name it, they did it. And we got evidence that it wasn't just 4 boys with him. We got evidence that they asked Nolan to get back on the boat, and he refused to because he grown. We got evidence that the boys reached out to the parents, that Benjamin Crump and them didn't refuse to reach out to these boys, and I've talked to them. I've seen the evidence with my own eyes. I've seen that there was more than just 4 people. There was 3 boats full of kids. I know that they left and they had nothing to do with this. And instead of them saying and standing up for these boys and saying, look, we don't know what happened. We want justice for Nolan. These boys didn't have no involvement. Instead, they want to make it about race. And it is a shame. And I'm so heated, man. I went out to Horn Island. We got all the video. We got the interviews. The boys wanted to talk to me because I'm the only one there to give them a voice, because everybody else is fake, fraudulent, looking out for themselves. And it's a shame, man. It's a shame. Nolan deserved better than what they did. They out here hoodwinking, trying to raise money and make stuff about race, and they have no evidence. They lied about the phone getting deleted. It's a shame, man. But y'all finna find out, and a lot of y'all gonna have to apologize for the stuff that you said.
Now, the ultimate race hustler is calling other people race hustlers and ambulance chasers. This guy finds any and every black story he can to go against black people. He does it, and they use him. Now, y'all saw when he was still siding with that protected group over there, those groups they was paying him, when he interviewed you know who, right? His whole base turned against him. They was calling him all kinds of primates. He was up there talking about my Jesus Christ, and he was crying. Like, this dude is a character. I know for a fact his brothers and his sisters and his people's probably be in the background like, man, this dude is crazy, man. This dude on the internet just doing wild stuff. Because I know he don't talk like this at his barbecues, even if he even invited to the barbecue, his family's barbecue. Because y'all know how families are. He got I'm sure he got a brother that don't like him, right? But I know one thing. Remember that, what's that movie? He said, who that up there on that nag? That's his great granddaddy, right? Because that's who he got that from. Like, this guy is just, he just way too far to the left. Yes, sir, boss. No, sir, boss. Now, this is the thing. Why would the police and the investigators give him any information? Who the hell is he? Why would they trust him to go put out information, believing that he would do it the right way, or he has the ability to mess up their whole strategy? Why would they tell him anything? He's talking about well, I have the truth, and when I'm done, y'all gonna have to apologize. They lied about this. They lied about text messages. They this. So now you're putting out accusations on the family that can sue you. That can sue you. You're putting accusations out on the family and the family with the statements that the family made. You're insinuating that the family is telling lies. Now, if you can't prove these things, you could be sued for defamation, right? You and them bottom shelf Beckys could be sued for defamation because you out here saying, I'll be your Huckleberry, right? I'll get out there and do that, right? But listen, man, this whole thing is crazy, man. Judge Mathis wasn't done, though.
Because if he's out there by himself, no question about it, 90% white in the state of Mississippi that has a history of demonizing and black men and killing them in the civil rights era. Most of the civil rights killings occurred in Mississippi, including Medgar Evers, including our dear young brother from Mississippi who was killed, and several others. And so we know that Mississippi has a history of demonizing and marginalizing black men. And so the question became, what is the investigation going to be? Well, the police immediately accepted the version of the 3 young men that returned. Now, here you are, you're supposed to be the police. And I just deduced it. And I deduced it not just now, but I had deduced it immediately after seeing it in the media. And I'm not an investigator, I'm a lawyer and a judge, but an investigator, that is a police investigator / detective, has investigative techniques that would have immediately thrown into question what occurred, and common sense throws into question what occurred. And that's where we're at now. And there's some actions being taken by Ben Crump. I've spoken with him, and he's on top of it. And the family has the questions raised. Again, why would he leave his cell phone? Because it had to be voluntary. And then voluntarily stay on an island by himself without telling them why. A lot of questions there, a lot of holes in it, and that's what that grand jury is going to look into. That's the good news.
Yeah, that definitely don't make no sense. So why would he give his phone to his friend? And I heard that his mom, she had to find out by using an app that his friend had his phone after it was reported that he was missing.
Very suspicious, correct. And then there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of unanswered questions. There's allegedly an altercation that took place, and I think they say there may be some footage of it. Some have been AI generated, various things, so we don't really know what's true or not. But I think they have eyewitnesses, and that's where the investigation should go. Were there eyewitnesses that saw any type of altercation?
Now y'all know what's crazy, because Brandon Tatum is upset. Now dig the move, right? Your son is dead. He's unalive. And you're seeking an independent investigation because you don't trust Mississippi police to do the proper investigation. You bring in people who you deem fit to help you. You get people that's donating money to find out what happened. And Brandon Tatum, you out here trying to get in the middle of that? Now, scores of everybody does this, right? Brandon Tatum, your children are still alive. So you're criticizing his family when they're trying to find out. They don't trust. Why? Just because you trust W folks, they don't. They don't have a right to trust W folks. They have a right to handle it the way that they want to handle it. Let the authorities figure it out. So now you want to get out in front of this and use your platform to demonize them and prove them to be liars, right? That's what you're trying to do. And you're going all out. You're pulling out all the stops.
Justice for Nolan Wells.
Nolan Wells deserved a lot more than what they provided. Nolan Wells' friends should have been able to be there at his funeral. But because they're pushing racism, the boys couldn't even show up out of fear of somebody killing them. While I was here, one kid got a package in the mail with powder on it with a death note on it to his house. These boys are getting doxxed and death threats and people showing up at their houses. No evidence whatsoever. I think that I'm telling you, I think the family should sue the living daylights out of them. But Al Sharpton and the Hoodwinkers went to this boy's funeral and offered $100,000 for information that leads to the arrest of a suspect in the Nolan Wells case. Roll the clip.
I'm not only saying we don't want nothing. I want to say right here now, and I'm inspired by who accused us of that I want to put up from National Action Network and me, I want to offer a reward of $50,000 to anybody. I want to put a reward up for $50,000 for anybody that could give the information that will lead to an arrest and a conviction in the case of what happened.
I'll tell you why this is problematic. Because at this point, we do not have evidence that there was something nefarious that happened, that there was some suspect. All we have right now with the information that's been provided is that his death is either inconclusive or there's no signs of foul play. Why are you interjecting race and interjecting issues into a case that don't already have issues?
Why are you interjecting race? Well, first of all, they have every right to donate money to find out what happened because they don't trust the process down there. They don't trust the way, and we know that there's been countless numbers of other people that was unalived in that state and the way that they handle things. Brandon knows this, but Brandon is the ultimate race hustler. He just does it the other way. And they use him as a prop, right? They use him as a mascot. Go out there and say all the things that we want to say that we can't say. So you go out there, Brandon, and say it. You want that 6-foot blonde right there, Brandon? Yeah, Brandon, go do our job and she'll be delivered to you in the bowl, Brandon. Right? You can have all the bottom shelf Beckys you want. We'll even give you a platform and allow you to make money. Just as long as you're saying all of the things that we want you to say. The minute you go against us, we're going to call you a primate. We're going to do all kinds of things we can to destroy your credibility and character. Absolutely, Brandon. Right? So, listen, he eventually was coming to him because of the things that he does, and he's so disingenuous. Listen, I've been in these spaces long enough to see how things play out, but I'm gonna leave it there, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this, man. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. And remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.